Hello, it's Wednesday. We're back with another video. What are we doing today?
We're going to follow up on the Chidima story.
Yeah.
Things have been escalating. Things are kind of blowing up. But let's just check out this clip first. And then you tell me what you think about it. So what are your thoughts after seeing that?
You know, like my take on the previous video that we did about...
Yes, I remember it very well.
Yes, and I was pro... I mean, you're South African as long as you're born there. And I was more in line with the law and, you know. But I won't lie, after seeing this video, something happened inside of me. Something happened inside of me that was like, but this is not right. This is not right. And I was fighting with myself inside, you know, like I hated that. I hated that I was saying that, but I was like, but this is not right. It doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. Therefore, it is not right. So I think what made it worse is the fact that now it is very evident. It's become more and more evident. Like, she really embraces her Nigerian heritage. She's more Nigerian than she'd be South African. She just so happens to be South African, I feel like, because that's where she is located. That's where she stays, and that's where she grew up. If we're really talking about the facts of things, like, she's not representing South Africa in any way. And when you do things like this, where you're representing a country, you should kind of represent its people and its culture in some shape or form.
Going back to our initial video, this is what I was referring to when I was saying that, yes, she may be South African by birth.
Yes.
She's South African by nationality. I'm not one of those people who say that she's not South African.
Yeah.
She is South African. She was born here. And if her ID says her nationality is South African, she's South African. Let's just get that one out the way, right? She's South African, and Miss SA organization saw fit that she is eligible to compete in the competition. Then it's fine. It's fair game. She's not doing anything illegal. She's not breaking any law. She's not doing anything crazy. The main question was, should she represent South Africa? That was my main question there. And then, like you said, you were just looking at it from a law point of view that, like, no, because she can do it, yeah, she should
do it. Continue.
But again, you weren't looking at the bigger picture, what it actually means if you were to represent South Africa. And then now when you see this clip, which a lot of people have seen, now they actually see, okay, if she actually represents South Africa, this is what it actually
like. A lot of people also didn't have a problem with it, and then until they saw that,
yes. Even
how is that Miss South Africa?
Even the people who are like fighting for her a lot the most, once they saw this clip,
it became difficult.
It just became real to them that no, this person actually cannot represent us because she doesn't embody South Africa. She doesn't at all.
No.
And as you can see, she is with her Nigerian family.
Yeah.
They are playing Nigerian music. They're doing Nigerian cultural things.
Yes.
You're seeing Nigerian outfits. What about that says?
Very nice.
What about that says South Africa to you?
It doesn't.
Nothing. Absolutely
not
nothing.
Even a little bit. I don't even...
Like I said before, she shouldn't represent South Africa because she doesn't embody South African culture. So again, a lot of people have picked up that they went to a TikTok. They went to a TikTok, and what did they see there? They saw her representing a Nigerian flag and a Mozambican flag. South African flag nowhere to be seen. She only changed that now after people call it out. That why aren't you putting your South African flag into South Africa?
Yeah.
No, you're only representing Mozambique, and you're representing your parents' nationalities, but you want to be Miss SA.
Her mother is Mozambican.
Yeah.
Not even South African. Oh my gosh. All this time I was hearing like, well, but it's probably misinformation. And somebody was saying the parents is, so she is by no means of South African heritage at all.
No. So again, it's like, I didn't want to play this whole argument about your like your descendants and all that stuff like that. To me, that's irrelevant. I was like, she shouldn't represent South Africa solely based on those three metrics that I use. So I just want to make an analogy of what is actually happening, because there are some people who still feel like, no man, these people are just being xenophobic, or these people are hating on other Africans, and I'm still gonna get to you. I'm still gonna get to you. These other Africans from outside always like to comment on South African things. I'm still gonna get to you guys, but let me just talk to the South Africans first. Who in their right mind, when they see that clip, thinks, he actually would be the best representation for South Africa on the world stage? Which South African would look at that clip and feel confident that no, she's representing South Africa?
Anywhere she goes, that is Miss South Africa.
Yes.
Oh man, that's actually.
So even some of the people who are defending her quite a lot, even saw that clip and
I understand.
This is too much. This is too much.
I absolutely understand.
Let me make this analogy, right? It's like, let me make this analogy in terms of movies, because movies are easier to understand and people won't be conflating or confusing things here. If you take South African classic movies, like let's take Tsotsi, let's take Jerusalem, let's take Mr. Bones, you know, or we can even take like let's just take those classic movies, whatever South African classic movie that comes to your head, right? And we have to select from a pool of movies to display on like maybe the World Film Festival or something, to say this is a South African movie, and then now just throw a Nollywood movie in there, and then mix it up and be like, okay, this Nollywood movie was made in South Africa. It was made in South Africa, so it's eligible to be in this category. You can choose it, right? And then even though the people who made it are not South African, and even the movie itself states that no, it's a Nollywood movie, it was made in South Africa, so it's perfectly fine in this category.
It's South African.
Yeah, it's a South African movie. So now when you have options like Tsotsi, Jerusalem, Four Corners, whatever other South African, Mr. Bones, or whatever other South African classical movie you can think of. What's the one? Sarafina. You got something like Sarafina. Why would you say a Nollywood movie would be the best representation of a South African movie? Why would you choose that to be like, that's the best representation of a South African movie that we can show to the world?
In South Africa.
That's exactly what is happening here. It's exactly that. It's like we are choosing a person who's born in South Africa, but who doesn't embody South African culture to represent South Africa at the world stage. How does that make sense?
It doesn't. I mean, it just made it worse for me that you said both parents are not. Because I was arguing also at the point of like maybe one parent, you know.
To me, that doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. Even if one of her parents was actually South African, if she still doesn't embody like South African culture, and she's not like showing an affinity to it. She's not like she wants to be like a part of South African culture. She's more a part of like her father's culture or whatever. Then still, to me, she shouldn't represent South Africa. So again, like South Africans, like just think about that. There's a lot of South Africans that were defending her before, and then after seeing that, they felt like, no, it's not right. It doesn't feel good. And even some politicians have weighed in. The likes of Julius have weighed in, obviously.
Your citizenship is determined by where you were born. So if she was born here, she's South African. It doesn't matter who they are. She's not her parents. She's herself. So why do you want to say she's from Nigeria or she's from Mozambique? She was born here.
And now recently, Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gayton, who's famously known for his slogan, Abahambe. Is now looking into this matter to verify if everything is legit.
It's based though.
So even Lord Dayton is
I mean,
looking into this.
this is his child.
This is his department.
Yeah.
Now let me address the Africans here, the Africans who like to talk about South African affairs, even though you don't have anything to do with it. The thing that annoys me about these pro-black
Movements.
these pro-black activists, these pan-africanists people, is that they always choose to fight for that cause, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's what pisses me off about these people. Like we understand what you're trying to do. We
Yeah.
understand the cause.
Yeah.
That no, you guys are fighting for black people and you want black people to be respected as much as like other races, like white people, whatever. You're fighting for that.
Right.
But then you'll choose to even fight for that even when it doesn't make sense. Even when it just doesn't make sense.
When?
In this situation, right? In this situation, how is a South African wanting to be represented by a South African that embodies South African culture xenophobic? How is that xenophobic? How is being patriotic to your country xenophobic? The thing is, they like to throw around these terms all the time, and it's now becoming meaningless because you'll just throw around xenophobia all the time, even when something is not xenophobic.
And they're also coming with double standards because they would have the exact same problem had it been, the other way around. I definitely doubt a South African lady, whether she grew up in Nigeria or not, would be able to represent Nigeria.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it. I think then when it comes to South Africans, they do that. Some people just want to be politically correct,
Yeah.
and like they just want to stand with what they feel like is standing on the right side, even when it's like compromising a lot on self. But like in instances like this, sometimes we do need to, put aside all of like all that fear or all of that or whatever that is that puts us in that box and be realistic about these things, because this is what things like this set a tone going forward. So it's like if you allow something like this to fall through the cracks, then you have to allow it again, because they're always going to reference to that situation.
So again, another argument they like to bring up is Barack Obama. Look at Barack Obama. He's got a Kenyan name, blah blah blah. But look, he became president in the US, right? And again, if you follow my 3 metrics, Barack Obama looks like a Black American, and he speaks.
He represents the culture of Black American.
They like to say, he comes from Kenya. If Barack Obama looked like a Kenyan and he spoke like a Kenyan, he would never have been.
He would have never. He wore Kenyan attire. His whole cultural practices are all Kenyan. Like his entire family basically is Kenyan. And there was nothing of him with a Kenyan accent and speaks a Kenyan language. Never.
And then another argument they like to bring up is Miss South Africa 2001.
What?
Vanessa Kiera or something like that.
Oh yes, she had.
I think she had like Portuguese father, and then a Russian mother. One of those things, right? And then I was like, when I saw the name, I'm like, this is not South African.
Yes.
Right? And then I went to her Instagram, and then I just scrolled through a bit, and I'm like,
she's a typical South African.
Yeah, she's a typical South African white woman.
Yes.
Like she has all the mannerisms. She looks like one. She speaks like one. So she gets the pass.
Culturally, she is South African.
So we're going to get started with our foundation and a little bit of concealer. Now, thankfully for us today, we've got near perfect skin. And I say near perfect because Zia and I actually struggle with exactly the same skin issues, which is pigmentation, right? And as you get older and after the kids and the hormones and all of that, I am kind of prone to it, as is Z, because we've got sort of darker Mediterranean skin tones, and that's just who we are. But thankfully, we've got great products to help cover all of that up.
So again, and then they like to bring up colors, they like to bring up Indians, all those are part of South Africa.
Are part of South Africa.
So that's what I'm saying.
We don't have have an issue with we don't have an identity crisis here in South Africa. Let's get that right. Like, we don't have an identity. We know what falls part of South Africa. We are comfortable enough to have a South African colored person, a South African Indian person, a South African white person, a South African black person of any tribe to represent us, because we know that they fall within the bubble. No, we're quite comfortable and quite confident with our identity. We understand it. Although, and you poking into our domestic issues, to try and make points also is ridiculous. We're not even going to entertain that. But we want it to be known that we know what a South African is, and we know what a South African is not.
It would be so crazy if she was to win, like, Miss South Africa, and then as she wins it, her parents come running up, hoisting a Nigerian flag,
wearing Nigerian attire,
and she has the Miss South Africa crown on, the Miss South Africa band, but there's a Nigerian flag behind her, like, being waved across. And again, it's like I also like to think of it like, why would Nigeria be okay with this as well?
That's what I want to know. Like, okay? Why would they be okay? Like, that is so. Because it's compromising self.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
many levels.
It's like we're trying to claim your identity now.
Yeah.
But at least South Africans are not actually trying to claim your identity. But it's like if we send out Chidima as Miss South Africa to the world, the rest of the world that doesn't know all these tribes and all that stuff like that will look at Chidima and be like, that's a South African.
Yes. So anybody now who's like a Chidima or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think she's South African. So again, my theory is that because Nigerians have been stealing like South African passports and identities overseas, they'll be very happy if more countries
people start thinking that they are South African because they've tarnished themselves basically everywhere.
So, and again, there's this other comment that just came to my mind as well. One of our past Nigerian videos, there's a guy who commented, he said that no, Nigerians, everywhere they go, they like to dominate, they like to conquer. He used the word conquer specifically. Yes. So to them, if they see a Nigerian become Miss South Africa, they would have felt like they conquered South Africa.
Yeah.
And now
this is their way of actually conquering.
Because if you notice, Nigerians like to claim things. They like to. Yeah. Some are claiming they're taking a piano. Yeah. Some are claiming they're taking whatever. They like to claim things. Yeah. So again, it's probably
I think so. I think it's more along those lines.
So again,
because we definitely know we're not going to hear the end of it. Should that be the case for them? They're not endorsing this because they really care about Chidima or anything. Yeah. They don't even know her from a bathtub. They don't care about her, but they love what she represents, and she represents this. Niger takes over South Africa.
Yes, that's what she represents to them.
She represents that to them. Yeah.
So again, it's not even hate. I know a lot of people will be like,
it's not hate, but I just wish that you'd understand this. I wish that she'd understand that this is personal. Like, us, it's not pleasant. And I think it's very selfish for her to want to continue forward knowing how South Africans feel about it.
And again, to the Africans who are always commenting and getting into our internal affairs, right? Again, you will not know what it's like to be a South African. You will not know what we want. But most importantly, South Africans do not impose whatever ideas or beliefs that we may have onto your countries. Yeah. You don't see us imposing ourselves onto you.
On other people.
Like the way like other African people are imposing themselves onto South African.
Because we believe in this and then you guys believe in that.
It's like just let us be. This is one of the things this is one of the things that cause division as well. It's like you guys always think that you know better than us.
Yeah.
For us. Like, and that's wrong. Let South Africans sort out their internal affairs.
Let South Africans decide what is best for them themselves.
Yeah, let South Africans decide what South African is. Can we just start there?
Yeah.
Can we just start
Can we have that?
Yes. It is what it is. Like, just let South Africans sort out South African issues.
Yeah.
Sure, you can comment on it and say that we're xenophobic. We're xenophobic for wanting other African people to respect our laws. We're xenophobic for that. We're xenophobic for a lot of things. We're xenophobic for choosing South Africa first. No, just a lot of bullshit like that. But it's like, that's my whole beef with like these pro-black activists and pan-africanists and stuff like that. You're pro-black even when it doesn't make sense. And that's where you lose a lot of people. Because you're not making sense.
Like, come on, make this make sense.
And a lot of y'all are racist as hell as well. A lot of y'all are very racist. Y'all love
racist.
Y'all love to see
very
white people
racist.
get
Yo,
treated a
don't
certain
even
way.
talk about that.
But anyway, that's why they hate South Africans as well.
Yo.
We are willing to fight and side with white people.
Yes. And they can't stand that.
Yeah, they can't stand it.
And it's almost like they wish, you know.
So again, a lot of them will always bring up the, what about this white person? Why would you accept this white person but not an African or whatever? Like, just think. Just think.
Just
It's deeper than that. Just think a little more. But again, if you don't understand the South African context, then it's fine.
Yes.
It's cool. Just don't comment on it if you don't understand it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been a very interesting saga.
Very interesting.
And she continues to move forward in the competition. She's now made it to the top 13.
Finalist.
She's now a South African finalist. So again, it would be crazy. Well, it would be crazy to see Miss South Africa being paraded in Nigeria.
I don't know. Because she's definitely going to be celebrated in Nigeria.
She's going to be paraded in Nigeria.
Yes.
She will be.
Like in the
Most definitely.
street.
Her dad will make sure that happens.
We'll make sure.
Her dad's family will make sure.
This crown is
Nigeria's crown.
Nigerian.
It's Nigeria's crown. And that's how they're gonna portray it. They're gonna be like, yeah, this is Nigeria's crown now. You guys let us know what you think about this whole situation.
Yeah, you know, I really wanted to take the side of like, yeah, no, but like, it's hard. I can't. No.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.